Good afternoon, everyone. I'm meteorologist James Longwith with Dynamic Weather Agency LLC. Today we're going to be tracking that significant winter storm system that's going to be impacting parts of the southern plains, Mississippi, Tennessee, and Ohio valleys before eventually moving its way off into the northeast. This major storm system is expected to develop over the southern plains today into Monday before lifting north into the Mississippi, Tennessee, and Ohio valleys, and then eventually off into the northeast Tuesday, even into parts of early morning of Wednesday, with a large area of snow, sleet, and freezing rain expected with this major winter storm system. Several major cities are going to be impacted with this major winter storm system, including places like Dallas, Houston, Oklahoma City, Little Rock, Memphis, Nashville, Indianapolis, Cleveland. Some of these are places that are going to be impacted by this upcoming major winter storm system. With this system, too, expect some concerns for some travel disruptions and even some power outages with this major winter storm system due to the significant snowfall and some of the ice accumulations further south in the lower Mississippi Valley through the Tennessee, mid-Atlantic, even parts of the southern northeast, with some of that significant icing with some of the ice storm conditions that are going to be expected with this major winter storm system. Now, take a look at our current national radar this morning. We do have quite a few things going on our radar this morning. Take a look at the northwest. We do have some mountain snow conditions in the Cascades and even parts of the northern Rockies. But as we take a look at the central United States, again, a lot of disturbances, a lot of snow showers occurring across this area this afternoon. But as we take a look at parts of the southeast, we do have some lines of convection. We do have some strong cells down there, and we do have some lightning with some of those cells, and we do have the threat for severe weather across parts of Florida today. So more about that as we get later on into today's video. But first, before we could get into today's video, I do want to encourage you guys to hit that like button down below and subscribe to our channel for more weather-related content like this, along with sharing this video with your friends and family so we can help make them weather aware before the weather happens. Also, be sure to check us out on social media. You can send us your weather photos and videos over there, and we'd love to share them in our future and upcoming videos. The links to our social media pages can be found down below in the description. You can also visit us online at dynamicweatheragency.com to find more weather-related content and information over there. And last but not least, be sure to check out our Patreon page to help support this channel so I can continue to make weather-related content like this, along with some storm chasing videos and fund some of our research here at Dynamic Weather Agency LLC. We have many different packages and tiers for our Patreon subscribers with many exclusive content, early access, and perks for our Patreon subscribers. Again, the link can be found down below in the description. And another thing, if you guys tune in to the Weather channel on February 16th at 2 o'clock in the morning, you can catch us on the TV series World's Wildest Weather on the episode called Buried Alive with the Kokomo tornado. We're on there as an expert witness, and you can see some of our storm chasing footage on over there. So be sure to check that out February 16th at 2 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Now, getting into today's video, taking a look at some of our headlines today, we're going to be taking a look at those current National Weather Service hazards, those watches, warnings, and advisories, those WWAs. We'll be taking a look at that Winter Storm Severity Index. We'll also be getting into talking about this major winter storm system. We'll take a look at those weather models. We'll take a look at the forecast accumulated snowfall. And we'll also take a look at some of the timing for this major winter storm system. Last but not least, we'll also be taking a look at the threat for some severe weather across parts of the southeast and across parts of Florida over the next couple of days. Now, taking a look at our national forecast for the next 72 hours. West of the Rocky Mountain regions, kind of over the Rockies, the Cascades, the Sierra Nevadas, the Northern Rockies, the Colorado Plateau and Mongolian Rim. Mountain snow conditions still continuing. We do have some moisture moving on through, some orographic lift and some short waves moving on through that region. Those disturbances creating some mountain snow conditions with the possibility for some snow in some of those lower valleys across parts of Nevada, Washington, Oregon, and even parts of Arizona and Utah. Now, the big main player is going to be that major winter storm system. You can see some of that heavy snow, that big swath of heavy snow stretching all the way from Texas all the way up to Maine. This major winter storm system has the potential to dump some very heavy snow, 8 to 12 inches of snow, with some areas maybe seen up to about 16 inches of snow with this major winter storm system. Further to the south, in that very light pink under that heavy snow, We do have the potential for some freezing rain, some significant freezing rain accumulations across parts of the lower Mississippi Valley through the Tennessee Valley into the mid-Atlantic and parts of the Northeast. Further to the south, across the southeast, we do have rain and even some heavy rain conditions across there, with the possibility for some severe thunderstorms across parts of Florida, Georgia, and even the eastern portions of the Carolinas as we get into tomorrow. Now, getting into this major winter storm system, taking a look at some of the current mesoscale discussions we have out. We do have a mesoscale discussion issued by the Storm Prediction Center for an area of moderate to heavy snow that is expected to expand in coverage through the early evening, especially across parts of Texas today. Now, as we take a look at those current National Weather Service winter weather watches, warnings, and advisories, take a look at some of these watches, warnings, and advisories. Much of the United States is under some of these winter weather advisories, this morning. Those pink values, again, are those winter storm warnings. Those purples are those winter weather advisories. Those blue and indigo colors, those are those winter storm watches. And those magenta, those kind of magenta colors in West Virginia and even parts of PA are some of those ice storm warnings, and we're expected to see some more of those ice storm warnings possibly be issued as we move throughout the day. Now, taking a closer look at the Northwest, we do have some, like we said, some of those winter storm warnings, winter weather advisories, some of those advisories for places like Seattle, Portland, Boise this morning. Some of those winter storm warnings currently in effect for parts of the Cascades and some of the northern Rocky Mountain region. Taking a look at parts of the Southwest, we don't have really much. We do have some winter weather advisories in the Sierra Nevadas, some winter weather advisories and winter storm warnings for parts of the Rocky Mountain region and parts of Colorado. As you take a look at the South Central United States, take a look at all these winter storm warnings currently in effect for places like Oklahoma, Wichita Falls, Amarillo, Lubbock, Waco, Austin, San Antonio, Houston, Shreveport, Alexandria, Jackson, Mississippi, Memphis, Nashville, Birmingham, all within some of these winter storm warnings ahead of this major winter storm system expected to develop today into tomorrow. Taking a look at parts of the Central Plains, again, you can see some of those winter storm warnings, winter weather advisories for Wichita, Kansas, Columbia, Springfield, St. Louis, Quincy, Davenport. As we take a look at parts of, Kentucky and Indiana, moving our way into the Midwest, you can see places like Indianapolis, Bloomington, Vincennes, Evansville, Bowling Green, Louisville, Lexington, Cincinnati, Columbus, Cleveland, Toledo, all within some of those winter storm warnings. You can see places like Fort Wayne, Kalamazoo, places like Chicago are kind of within some of these winter weather advisories. Some of the advisories didn't pop up on this map or populate correctly, so we'll have to, you'll have to take account of that. But some of these areas that are not within some of these purples are actually in some of these winter weather advisories. Now, taking a look at parts of the Mid-Atlantic, we still have some lingering winter weather advisories and some of those ice storm warnings from that system that moved through yesterday, where we saw some significant icing in some of the Appalachian Mountain region and parts of the Mid-Atlantic. Now, taking a look at the Northeast, we do have some winter storm watches currently in effect for places like State College, Boston, Manchester, just west of Manchester, Albany, some winter storm warnings for Syracuse and Buffalo and Erie, Pennsylvania, ahead of this major winter storm system. Now, taking a look at those winter storm products, those winter storm warnings, watches, and advisories, what do those all mean? Well, winter storm watch means that snow, sleet, and ice conditions are possible and that you should be getting prepared for this major winter storm. The confidence is medium that a winter storm could produce heavy snowfall, sleet, freezing rain, and cause significant impacts. Those winter weather advisories are sub-warning level criteria. It means wintry weather is expected and that you should still exercise some caution that light amounts of wintry precipitation with patchy blowing snow will cause slick roads, travel conditions, and affect areas if precautions are not taken. While those warnings means that snow, sleet, and ice is expected and that you should be taking action for this major winter storm. Confidence is high that the winter storm will produce heavy snow, sleet, freezing rain, and cause significant impacts, especially to those people who are not prepared. Now, taking a look at that Winter Storm Severity Index, the WSSI, what components go into this index? Well, first of all, it's taking a look at snow amount. How much snow are we expected with this major winter storm, and at the rate of which that snow is falling? It's also taking a look at the snow load. So this is basically the weight of the snow. Is this going to be a light, fluffy type snow, or is this going to be a wet, heavy type snow? Which we're expecting more of a wet, heavy type snow with this potential major winter storm. It's also going to be taking a look at some wind components, the possibility for some blowing and drifting snow. And with that wind component, is there going to be the possibility to see some reductions in visibility, meeting some ground blizzard criteria? Because the definition of a blizzard is either large amounts of falling or blowing snow, so you don't have to have falling snow to have blizzard criteria, with winds greater than 35 miles per hour, with visibility less than a quarter of a statute mile, for at least 3 hours or more. So taking a look at that wind and that visibility component, will we be seeing blizzard-like or blizzard conditions that will meet some of this criteria? And last but not least, the flash freeze and ice, the potential for surfaces to become ice covered, and the amount of ice accumulation. Now, taking a look at our day 1 winter storm severity index, this is for today. Take a look at some of those impacts. Major to extreme impacts is expected across parts of the South Central and Lower Mississippi Valley today. You can see some of those purples and reds across parts of the areas. Again, this is going to be due to some of that significant icing and heavy snowfall across some of these regions right here. You can see those moderate and even minor impacts stretching around that, moving all the way into parts of the, basically all the way from Texas into the Ohio Valley region. In the Pacific Northwest, we're still seeing some of those impacts due to some of that mountain snow conditions. As we move into day 2, this is tomorrow, you can see some of those impacts shifting further to the east and moving their way further into the northeast. You can see some of those moderate impacts stretching all the way from the lower Mississippi Valley all the way up into the northeast and parts of New York, Vermont, and New Hampshire, with some major impacts in some of those bigger cities due to some of that, again, significant snowfall and icing. And then as we move into day 3, take a look. We still have some of those moderate to even minor impacts across much of the, lower Mississippi Valley into the northeast, with some major impacts in some of those, more populated cities. You can see some of those reds in Indiana near like Indianapolis. Now, taking a look at that WSI scale, what do these impacts kind of mean? So those minor impacts roughly equate to those NWS advisory level criteria that we were showing on our, current watches, warnings, and advisories, those WWAs. With minor disruptions, the primarily those who are not prepared, with none to minimal recovery time needed. Those moderate impacts, again, roughly equate to those NWS warning level criteria, with definite impacts to those with little preparation. Perhaps a day or two of recovery time for this, for road crews to get out there and continue to work, and for some of the snow to melt and subside, and some of that ice too. Those major impacts are significant impacts, even with people who have preparation, with several days of recovery time. And those extreme or historic widespread severe impacts, many days to at least a week of recovery time needed. I think that's a little bit, excessive when they say that. I don't think it's going to be that much of recovery time with some of those areas that were in some of those extreme impacts, maybe a day or two to kind of recover with that. But maybe 3 days at most, but definitely not really at least a week. Now, taking a look at our Futurecast radar, again, across the Pacific Northwest, mountain snow conditions, low pressure system slamming on into that region, bringing some significant snowfall to that region. Across parts of the southeast today, again, wet conditions, along with the potential for some severe weather across parts of Florida today. But as we take a look at parts of the south central United States, we have that low pressure system that we're going to be watching beginning to develop. You can see some of that mixed precipitation, ice accumulation as we go this evening into the overnight hours. Again, this is going to make morning commutes very difficult as we move into Monday morning across the lower Mississippi Valley, even the parts of the Tennessee Valley region, as we watch this major winter storm system bring some significant ice accumulations down there. Again, you can see some of that more significant snowfall further to the west of that. Again, snowfall stretching all the way from Texas all the way up into, the Midwest and even Ohio Valley region as we move into tomorrow morning. Some snowfall beginning to develop. As we move throughout the day, Monday, we'll watch that low pressure system begin to move its way to the north and the east. Again, ice accumulation, Tennessee Valley, all the way up into, parts of the mid-Atlantic and northeast as we move into Monday evening on your commute on your way home. Again, you can see some of that significant snowfall stretching all the way from Arkansas all the way up into the Ohio Valley, now beginning to stretch its way into the northeast. As we move in through Monday evening into Tuesday morning, again, we're going to be seeing some ice accumulation across parts of the mid-Atlantic and even to parts of the northeast. Snowfall still occurring across parts of the Midwest, moving its way into the northeast, with this system continuing throughout Tuesday before moving out by the time we move into Wednesday, with some lingering lake effect snow conditions across Lake Erie and Lake Ontario. But as we take a look at the west, again across parts of the central United States and the southern plains, we'll be watching for our next potential storm system to be moving on in, bring more snowfall to parts of the south central United States, the central plains, and eventually its way into the Midwest and into the Northeast. Now, taking a look at some of the synoptic features of our major winter storm system, out ahead of this major winter storm system, we do have some nice diffluent flow aloft that's providing some divergence and upper level support for the development of this mid-latitude cyclone. With this nice deep 500 millibar trough, we have this nice vortex moving on through the region with this nice shortwave, providing some upper level support for some cyclogenesis, along with some enhanced upward vertical motion and lift through the region. At 700 millibars, we're taking a look at frontogenesis. We're not seeing much as in on our frontogenesis within this 24-hour timestamp, but as this surface low pressure system begins to develop and undergo cyclogenesis, we'll be looking for some increased frontogenesis across this region. That's going to enhance, again, some upward vertical motion and ascent. Across this area at 700 millibars, and even as we take a look at our 850 millibars, we have this nice low to mid-level jet moving on through the region that's bringing some nice moist air advection and some isentropic ascent with some of that moisture moving through that warm conveyor belt of our mid-latitude cyclone, wrapping around the deformation zone into the comet head. We have that nice cold pool of air behind this low pressure system that's going to enhance some of those liquid to snow ratios. Typically we see 10-to-1 liquid to snow ratios, but we could see some more significant liquid to snow ratios due to some of that cold air on the backside of this low pressure system. With the isentropic lift, that 500 millibar shortwave, that 700 millibar frontogenesis, and some of that upper level support is going to be all ingredients for significant snowfall to occur with this major winter storm system, as the system brings a nice pool of Gulf moisture as it tracks its way from the south central United States up into the northeast. Now, taking a look at the National Weather Service's forecast for ice, not only is significant snowfall going to be a major concern with this major winter storm, we do have to look for the potential for some significant icing. Take a look across the lower Mississippi Valley region. We have up to about a half an inch of ice forecasted across some of those areas across parts of Louisiana and Mississippi, and this is going to cause some significant travel disruptions and some slick roads across the region today and even into parts of tomorrow, with maybe some extra recovery time for that too. And then you can see some of that ice traveling its way into the Tennessee Valley and parts of the mid-Atlantic. You can see across parts of eastern Kentucky and West Virginia and parts of West Virginia. We're expecting to see some significant icing in that area too, where we can see again up to a quarter of an inch to about a half an inch of ice accumulation across that region too, with some isolated areas up to Now, taking a look at the European model. Now, this is the European run from yesterday that we were showing in our video, and this is the European run today. We don't see too much of a change between the European model run from yesterday and today. The only difference we're seeing just a little bit of a northern track with the system, kind of a western shift based off of yesterday's European run and today's. Of course, you're going to see more snowfall across the northeast, as this was 72 hours yesterday, ending at 7 a.m. on the 16th. Now we're looking at 7 a.m. on the 17th Eastern Standard Time. So you can see not much of a change with the European model over the last 24 hours. GFS model, again, you can see that northern and western shift. You can see the GFS model is painting significant snowfall across parts of the northeast now, in parts of western Maine and parts of northern Vermont, New Hampshire. And this model is also depicting very heavy snowfall across parts of Louisiana and Mississippi, so we'll have to continue to monitor that, while the European model is not showing that much across parts of Louisiana and Mississippi. Taking a look at the Germany icon didn't really change much over the last couple of days. Again, still this model is showing some of that more significant snowfall in Oklahoma, but this nice swath of snow stretching all the way from basically Arkansas to the northeast of basically 6 to 8 inches of snow with some isolated higher areas across that region. Taking a look at the UK Met. The UK Met showing kind of a very weird model solution. It is showing a lot of significant snowfall, which I do agree is possible. more than what the other models are showing. I do think some of the other models are a little bit under forecasting this. This one's kind of showing that, but I don't believe the track of this low pressure system is as consistent. You can see as we look at the European, the GFS, the Germany icon, and even as we look at the Canadian model, the low pressure track on the UK Met is just a little weird. It arcs a little bit more than what the other models are showing. So, but again, this model is showing that significant snowfall in Oklahoma. Some of the placement of the snow looks kind of right, except for I'm not sure about that parts of Louisiana and Mississippi. I think they are overdoing the snowfall possibly within some of that area right there. I think that's a little bit further to the north. And then same thing, taking a look at the northeast, it has that significant snowfall in parts of southern Maine. I think it's going to impact almost all of Maine. So as you'll see as we move into the Canadian model, you can see that that's more of kind of the low pressure track that we should be seeing, because that's how the Germany is, that's how the GFS is, and that's also how the European is. So the UK Met has a little bit difference of how the snowfall is going to occur and how that track is going to be. Taking a look at the National Weather Service blend of models, this is, again, my favorite solution of models. I love going by this solution right here. Again, significant swath of snowfall from Oklahoma, northern Texas, all the way through to the northeast. You can see that nice area of basically 6 to even maybe 12 inches of snow, with some isolated areas seen up to 16, maybe 18 inches of snow on Lake Erie, Lake Ontario, where we can see some lake effect enhancements. Again, this model solution is great because it's taking a blend consensus of multiple models together to come up with a solution. Now, taking a look at the National Weather Service forecast, looking very similar to that National Weather Service blend of model solution. A little bit similar to the UK Met, but not as much. Again, you can see that low pressure track more following that GFS European, Germany icon type model solution with the blend of models and the National Weather Service's forecast. You can see significant snowfall across parts of Oklahoma, northern Texas, with a nice swath of heavy snow across Arkansas, all the way up into the northeast, where we can see, like we said, some of the areas where we can see, 8 to 12 inches of snow, some isolated areas seen up to maybe 16 to 18 inches of snow across Lake Erie and Lake Ontario. This is the European Ensemble forecast. Again, the track pretty good. Agree with the track of this low pressure system, not agreeing too much with some of the snowfall totals. I do believe this is under forecasting a little bit. This is the probability for areas to see greater than 3 inches of snow. I do believe this is correct. This is the probability for areas to see more than 6 inches of snow. Again, I think it's under forecasting parts of Oklahoma and northern Texas, and I think it's under forecasting some of the snowfall across Indiana just a little bit, and even parts of southern and central Illinois. Again, this track is a little bit further to the west, I think, now, and with this event, I do believe that there's going to be some areas that can see up to 12 inches of snow. This is our in-house forecast model for the next 72 hours. Take a look at that swath of snow, heavy snow from Oklahoma all the way into the northeast. Those light purples is that area 5 to 8 inches of snow. And then you can see some of that area of 8 to 12 inches of snow painted in there from our in-house model. Taking a look at the northwest, again, mountain snow conditions in the Cascades, northern Rockies. You can see some of those significant snowfall totals and those bright pinks and even light pinks right there, indicating 16 to 24 inches of snow in some areas greater than 24 inches of snow. Taking a look at the southwest, you can see again some of those snow conditions across parts of those higher elevations of the Sierra Nevadas, some of the Rockies, even in parts of the mountainous terrains of parts of Nevada, and even into parts of Colorado and stuff. But as we take a look at the south central United States, take a look at this. Wichita Falls, Dallas, Texarkana, Springdale, Oklahoma City, Eden, kind of within some of that 5 to 8 inches of snow, even Memphis within that. As we take a look at our in-house model, Texarkana, Little Rock, Fort Smith, kind of within that 8 to 12 inches of snow as depicted by our in-house model. So we take a look at the central United States. This is what our in-house model is again showing. You can see places like Jonesboro, Vincennes, Indianapolis, Fort Wayne moving into some of that 8 to 12 inches of snow. You can see again Springfield, St. Louis, Bowling Green, and Memphis again in that 5 to 8 inches of significant snowfall. Taking a closer look at the Midwest, places like Chicago, South Bend, Champaign, Louisville, Lexington, Fayetteville is kind of on the line. Cincinnati, Dayton, Columbus, Detroit, all within that area of 5 to 8 inches of snow, while, like we said, Mount Vernon, Vincennes, Bloomington, Indianapolis, Kokomo, Marion, Muncie, Fort Wayne, Lima, Toledo, Sandusky, Cleveland, kind of within that area of 8 to 12 inches of snowfall expected with this major winter storm. Taking a look at the Northeast, we think the Northeast is kind of underdone on this forecast solution. Places like Buffalo, Erie, and even like Kingston could see maybe some more significant snowfall due to some lake effect enhancements. You can see places like Syracuse within that area, 5 to 8 inches of snow. Now, if you would like to see our official snowfall forecast, be sure to go over to dynamicweatheragency.com and go over to the forecast in the winter tab over there, where you can see our hand-drawn snowfall forecast maps on over there. Now, taking a look at our severe weather threats. Now, taking a look at our Day 1 Storm Prediction Center convective outlook, we do have a slight risk for severe storms across parts of Florida today, again for some marginal tornado threat and some damaging winds. As we move into tomorrow, we're still again in that level 2 slight risk for severe storms across parts of Florida, northern Florida, the Florida Panhandle, and southern Georgia, again for some isolated tornadoes and the threat for some damaging wind gusts. As we move into Day 3, we're not expecting much as in for severe weather, and thereafter, again, we're not expecting much as in for severe weather, as we'll have a little bit of break before we'll start seeing another active pattern move in. Again, I would like to thank you guys for checking out today's video. Be sure to hit that like button down below and subscribe to this channel if you haven't already, and share this video with your friends and family so we can help make them weather aware. Again, here at Dynamic Weather Agency LLC, we are a Weather Ready Nation ambassador with the National Weather Service, helping promote weather awareness, helping prepare the public for these potential major winter storms, severe weather, and hurricanes, or whatever the weather may be. I am meteorologist James Longwith signing off for today. You guys have a great and wonderful day. Again, be safe out there ahead of this major winter storm system, and take your precautions, as in giving yourself extra time going to work, increasing your stopping distance, and be prepared for some slick roads ahead of this major winter storm system.